For my adaptive learning tool, I chose the IXL. I have currently or have used it in my classroom and would currently be using it if I was still in class. Um, However, the negative side of this is you do have to pay for it. Currently, my district does pay for it. I do not believe we will be continuing with it next year. I think we're going to try something else, just because the level of questioning that my district wants is more star like. That's the one bad thing. This program is very skill based, which I personally love for that because our curriculum currently does not offer a whole lot of just skill questions, and a lot of times that's what my students need is they just need the repetition and the practice. But it does require a login. I logged in with my school account, so that is the login. And then this is what my kids have done throughout the year. Obviously, we're in summer session currently, so I don't have any children or students currently underneath me, but I believe I still can look at everything. So when you go to my IXL, that's more for the sides of the students. So this gives a whole personalized part of it. I don't use this a whole lot. I definitely use the learning. That's where I go and click on what lessons I'm going to give them. And then analytics is where I go to look at my students' grades, progress, and so forth. So I'm going to go into the learning and then, I teach math. So I would go into the skills part of it. As you can see, it starts at pre-K and goes all the way into much higher levels than I need. So I click on 8th grade, and then this gives me a running record of all the individual skills that I have available to offer my students. As you can see, there's little bars out to the side of them, of some of them, and then there's obviously ones that are not. If it has a bar, that means someone of my students have worked on that assignment that have been registered to me. So as you can see, I feel like I use this all the time for the benefit of my students. So once I decide, let's say I know my students are struggling with just solving equations, specifically maybe solving like terms. If you hover over it, it goes to the 4 levels of the skill. Level 1 is very basic. Level 2, of course, builds up, and then eventually you get into a harder concept. So I believe it is if the students make, I think, a 60, once they make a 60, it goes into, or maybe it's a 40. I don't remember all the cutoffs, but I know like once they make a 70, it bumps up to like the 3rd level, and then the 4th level is a 90 or above. And so a lot of times, my requirement for my students, I try and push them to at least an 80 so that they are seeing the more challenging, but I don't force them to make 100. However, that is always the option and an encouragement to do that. So like I said, if you just hover over it, it shows you and gives you an idea as to what the types of questions that will be asked of them in case you are unfamiliar with that concept, or in case you are specifically looking for, I really want them to see graphs, but I want them to see, like for instance, slope from a graph. I want to see what kind of graphs they're going to ask them. And so this one is, they have to type this answer in, but the first one, they just got to click it. They have to type this one in. So the level 1 it is not basic, but it is easier. And so they didn't have to come up with the actual number. The thing about so let's just click on this particular lesson. You can, as a teacher, go through and answer the questions, much like the kids would have to do. So the thing I love about IXL is the students they can be doing everything correct. They can get up to a 70 and they can keep working up to their 80 or 90. But if they start getting it wrong, their grade does go down. So they have to get the question correct in order to get credit for it. And so let's say that they count this 1, 2, 3, 4 back 2, and they think it's 4/2. So they think, oh, that's a slope of 2. If they don't catch that it is, and they submit this. Let's say that they don't realize that, oh, it was negative. It goes through a full explanation of how to find it, what it looks like, rebuilding what they just did, setting it up, showing them, and then explaining why and how it actually is -2. And the students can look back at this. There's also a video up here for them to learn from as well if for some reason they are completely lost and have no idea how to do slope from a graph. And then, of course, once they get this, they hit got it, and then it gives them another graph. And so, oh, that's 0. We know that. So now it's giving them a score, and it's telling them how many questions they've answered. And so when students come to me and I can see they've answered 30 questions and they only have a 40, that's a problem. So this is another time I can address their issue. Undefined, submit. So as they get more questions correct, this score goes up. And so I can either walk around and look at the issues, or I can look at it on my screen as my monitoring system. So I truly love this system. So let's say that we're going along and we mismark. What happens? The score points do go down, not a full question, but it does go down. And then again, it goes right back through that explanation as to building your triangle, rise over run, change of y over change of x, simplify. So ultimately, again, it goes over the answer and how it got it. I truly love IXL. I wish at times that the questions were more challenging, or more star-like leveled questions. However, I do love the basic skill, and I know that IXL is more about skill than it is about word problem application. But no matter what, I absolutely love IXL, and I will truly miss it when I no longer have it for my classes.